Good evening, dear students. So last day up to the functions of polysaccharides we covered, isn't it, in the online session. And today, for the roll number from 1 to 10 from each session, we will lose the first part of this today's topic. So now we can discuss about the structure of amino acid, its features, structure, and all those things, and its types also we can discuss in today's session. So first of all, in the amino acids, they're mostly colorless compounds. It doesn't have any particular color, and they're mostly crystalline compounds. Means when the granules is like the crystalline structures will be there for the amino acids, and they are the amino acid means these amino acids are the simplest unit or the monomers unit of the protein molecules. So today in the class we discussed about the structure of this protein molecules, isn't it? Little bit we discussed in that classroom, and they're mostly water soluble compounds. So water soluble means they are dissolving inside the water. They're aminated organic acids. Aminated means amine having groups. So while learning the general formula or the general structure, we can discuss about that aminated compounds. That is in having one amine group, that is NH2 group is also present. So amino acid means having NH2 groups or the amino groups are there, and also that is about the organic acids are also there. So organic acid means organic acid means that is COOH group, carboxylic acid groups, isn't it? So here carbon is there, hydrogen, carboxylic acid, that is COOH. So carbon is there, oxygen is there, hydrogen is there, as well as nitrogen is also there. Nitrogen means NH2 group is there, isn't it? Or amine groups are there. So in having mainly 4 types of elements are also there. So in the case of plants, fungus, and microbes, either these organisms, amino acids are present, and it is synthesized from mainly from inorganic nitrate or inorganic nitrogen or from the alpha keto acid. So it produced from inorganic nitrogen or from the alpha keto acid by the process called reductive amination. Okay, the production of that amine group, that is called reductive amination, or by the reduction process. So reduction means addition of hydrogen. When hydrogen is added at that time, when hydrogen is added, then amine groups are produced. So that is the concept. So here amino acids having, as per we discussed this before, it having the amino groups, that is NH2 groups are there, as well as the acidic groups are also there. That is acid groups or the carboxylic acid groups are also present inside. These amino acids are separated by the methanes. So here, normally in the straight chain, CH groups will be there. So instead of the CH group, check the structure that mentioned below. Instead of CH3, it is replaced by the amine group, that is the NH2 groups. So almost 20 types of proteins are there. 20 types of protein molecules are there, and more than 200 types of amino acids are also present. And also we know there is 20 monomer units of amino acids that combine together to form the proteins, isn't it? So 20 types are also there. Now the next one about the structure. So at the central side in the structure, carbon atom is there, and the left side NH2 is mentioned there, isn't it? So NH2 means amine group, and COOH in the right side. So NH2 means that is the amino group is there, and carboxylic acid group is also in the right side. And for balancing the balancing, isn't it? Balancing, to maintain the balancing, the carbon having again 2 chains are there. First they makes a bond with the hydrogen, and the next one that is with the R group. So R group means that is a type of alkyl group. Maybe there is a carbon and hydrogen group, contains carbon and hydrogen, and based upon the carbon number, we can classify it into different types. So based on the R group, this amino acids can be classified into 3 types. First of all, if the R group is replaced by, or the alkyl group having hydrogen atom, then the compound is called glycine. And if it is methyl group, or the CH3 group is there, then that compound is called alanine. And if it is hydroxyl methyl group is there, then the compound is called serine. Compound is called serine. So just check this. So in the normal structure or the general formula of this amino acid, it is mentioned by the letter R or the alkyl group. Just check the glycine at the downside, it's already mentioned, that is hydrogen group is there in the R group, isn't it? So that is the glycine. And if it is replaced by CH3, that is alanine. And for the serine, that is CH2OH. Now, based on the number of amino acids, so amino acids having 2 groups are there. First of all, amino groups are there. Second one, the carboxyl groups or the acid groups are also there. Now, based on the number of amino acids and carboxylic acid, again, we can classify it into several types. Mainly three types we can classify. First of all, the neutral amino acids. So neutral means, both sides are, isn't it? Both are equal. Suppose if you're taking the pH value from 0 to 40, 7 is a neutral at the central point. So like the same way, here neutral means it having mono carboxylic acid. Means only one amino group is there as well as one carboxylic acid is there. So that is called neutral amino acids having one mono amino group and mono carboxylic group. So here, some of the examples that comes under this neutral compounds or the neutral amino acids, that is glycine. G is there, alanine is there, valine, leucine, isoleucine. Okay, so these are the compounds and commonly known as the neutral compounds. Now the next one, acidic compounds. So acidic compounds, that is monoamino dicarboxylic acid. So it having only one amino group and having two carboxylic acid groups. So the neutral one, that is monoamino. Only one amino group is there and only one carboxylic acid group is there. But in the case of acidic groups, that is it having one amino acid and two carboxylic acid is also present. Now, for example, that is about the aspartic acid is there and glutamic acid are the examples for the acidic. Now coming to the basic one, that is diamino monocarboxylic acid. So here two amino groups are there and only one single carboxylic acid group is there. So in the case of basic, two amino groups and one carboxylic acid is there. For example, lysine and the arginine having the same pattern. Now the next one, sulfur containing compounds. So sulfur containing compound, that is cysteine. Cysteine is the first one having one carbon atom, and methionine, that is M. Methionine also having sulfur. Along with this amino acids and carboxylic acid, they also having some sulfur groups also inside. Now some of the amino acids having some alcohol contains, that is serine is there and threonine. These are the two compounds in which alcohol is also present. Now aromatic compounds, that is phenylalanine and tyrosine. These are the two compounds having two compounds, that is aromatic amino acids and it is cyclic in nature. And aromatic heterocyclic amino acids, for example, that is histidine and tryptophan. So these two compounds having aromatic heterocyclic ring-like structure. Now the final one, that is about the compounds having amino acid. So amino groups are there, that is NH2. So suppose if it is NH2, that is amino group, and imino means that is having NH groups, that is called imino group. And for example, that is proline. It's an example for the amino acid having imino groups. Now coming to the next property, this amino group and COH, carboxylic acid, have ionizing property. So ions means that is the charged particles. They are the charged particles and show some particular charges too. So in your textbook also, the same content is there. The same equation is already mentioned there. But when you're observing that particular one, you'll get confused. So learn like this one. That's a better way to identify the concept. So it's mentioned there, this amino groups and COOH or the carboxylic having some ionizing property, and that is called zwitterions. Means in this case, see the first structure. Inside that one central carbon atom is there, and COOH, that is acid groups are there. In the left side, NH2 groups are there. So NH2 group means that is amino groups are there, isn't it? NH2 groups are there, and the next one, NH2 groups are there, and the upper side having alkyl group, and downside having one hydrogen atom, isn't it? So here, see the first one. In the right side, COOH is there, carboxylic acid. So from the acid group, the H will be released from there. H will be released from there, and it attaches to the NH2 group. So from the COOH, one hydrogen releases from there and gets negative charge, and this hydrogen attaches towards the NH2 and becomes NH2 in the equation. Is it clear? So in this one, in the structure, it having two types of charges. So one is positive charge and having second one is negative charge. For the COH group or the acid, it loses one hydrogen atom and then it becomes negatively charged. At the same time, this amino group, that is NH2, that receives one hydrogen atom and becomes NH3, isn't it? So this NH3 that is getting the positive charge. So get the positive charge. So this kind of property is called zwitterions. It's already mentioned outside. So zwitterions means the compounds having both the charges opposite charges are there. One having positive charge and the second right hand having the negative charge. So if two types of charges present inside the compound, that is called switch ions. Now types of amino acids. First of all, first classification based on the formation of proteins. So two types of amino acids are there. The first one is protein amino acids and the second one is non-protein amino acids. So protein amino acids have the ability to produce the protein groups or the protein. Amino acids combine together to form proteins. So this type of amino acids have the ability to produce the proteins by combining. That's a condition. And non-protein amino acids are there. So those type of amino acids that doesn't have the capacity to produce the proteins. So those proteins are called, or those amino acids are called non-protein amino acids. Now, one by one, we can discuss about the protein amino acids. So in the protein amino acids, the first point that you can write it as, that is, it helps in the production of protein. That's the first one. So like the previous one, that is NH2 group is there. NH2, that is amino group is there. Just see the above equation also, then you can able to identify the concept is here. So just observe the above equation. So inside this one, there is NH2. NH2 means amino group. It's already mentioned in the previous equation and the formula of the structure. Now the second one, that is CHR is there. So carbons having one hydrogen atom plus one alkyl group. That is the R group. That's why it is written as NH2CHR. Now along with this one COOH group is also there. So COH means that is a carboxylic acid groups. Now, look at the first point, having a carboxyl group. So carboxyl group is there, or acid group is there, and also amino group is also there. That is attached to the alpha amino acid, means attached to the alpha carbon atom, to the first carbon atom. So hence we can call it as alpha carbon, and also we can call it as alpha amino acids because it's already attached to the first carbon atom. That's the reason. Now the alpha carbon atom having one hydrogen and a hydrocarbon group or an alkyl group, isn't it? So like the previous one, in the previous structure is mentioned in the alpha carbon or the first carbon, one hydrogen is mentioned in the downside and one alpha and a hydrocarbon group, isn't it? Hydrocarbons, that is acid group is also there, or else alkyl group is there. Alkyl group is also connected to the alpha carbon atom. Now these 2 points you can write it for your theory papers, and for now there's some points for your papers about the simplest amino acids. About the simplest amino acid, that is glycine. Glycine is an example for the simplest amino acid. And about the complex one, that is a tryptophan. So tryptophan is an example for the complex type of amino acids. So simplest form, that is a glycine, and the complex form, that is about the tryptophan. Now about the firstly formed amino acid, that is glutamic acid. So glutamic acid is a firstly formed amino acids. The 2 compounds are there, that is proline and hydroxyproline. Okay, so proline is there and hydroxyproline, that also we can discuss in the tomorrow. We can discuss the same concept inside your online session too. At that time, we can discuss that concept. Okay, about the proline and hydroxyproline, about its functions. So 2 types of amino acids, that is proline and hydroxyproline. So it having NS group. So NS group means imino group. NH2 is the amino group, but not spelling is not wrong. Imino group, that means having IMINO, that is NH group is only present there instead of NH2. And like the monosaccharides, all the amino acids having chiral carbon. So chiral carbon means that is the carbons difference in their asymmetrical carbon, isn't it? There is a asymmetrical carbons are present inside the amino acid. So hence we can call it as chiral carbon. And they're mostly optically active. So optically active means they are a little bit active towards the optical light. They're active towards the optical light. For example, last day we discussed about lever rotatory and dextro rotatory. So in the presence of light, if they turns towards the right side, that is dextro, and if turned towards the left side, that's a lever rotatory. So that condition is called optically active. And one of the examples for the amino acid that's optically inactive, that is glycine. Other than this remaining compounds, glycine is a little bit optically inactive in condition. Now, so optically inactive. Now about the conditions, that is, as I told you before, 2 types of amino acids are there. That is about the protein amino acids are there. So all the protein amino acids or the amino acids that helps in the production of proteins, they're most of them are lever rotatory, and the non-protein amino acids that doesn't help in the protein synthesis, and they are mostly dextro rotatory. That means they turns towards the right side. That is called dextro rotatory. Now the next one, non-protein amino acids. So non-protein amino acids that does not help in protein synthesis, that doesn't have any function in the protein synthesis. They occurs freely in the combined state. Maybe sometimes they occurs in free state or maybe in the combined state. And their arrangement, that is around, not about the arrangement, more than 180 types of non-protein amino acids are also there. So about the non-protein amino acids, they doesn't have any role in the protein synthesis. Maybe they occurs freely or in the combined state, and more than 180, isn't it? So more than 180 types of non-protein amino acids are there. So this much portions we covered in your e-session. E-session. So just watch this video and then prepare the notes. And already you leave 5 pages inside that notebook, isn't it? So complete it over there. And then the remaining portions we can discuss in our tomorrow session. Okay. So once again, thank you all. And if you have any doubts, you just contact me through WhatsApp. Thank you so much.